Welcome to another episode of the Roughly Related to Reselling podcast. I'm your host, Perry Phillips. I go by Pothead Picker on Instagram. If you're liking the show, do me a favor, tell your friends, be like, there's this show, there's this guy, he can barely form coherent sentences. Half the time he loses his train of thought. He says a couple things about reselling and then basically talks about being being on drugs and his fucking kids being sick. So if that's the type of podcast you're into, tell your friends, like, subscribe, share, and do that so I can keep making more podcasts. And I'm going to be doing them for free for a long time. So, it's going to be free forever, but I'm just saying, the expectation that I'm going to make money, if I ever do make money from this podcast, is, very low. So anyway, I've been a bad boy, but also I'm kind of being a good boy. So I'm being a good boy because I got donuts this morning, because I'll get into this in a minute, but yeah, I drank a little bit last night and starting off right off the bat, drugs, did mushrooms. So this morning I had to go take my daughter to school. So yeah, it was fun. She came in to the room at 7:00. I was about to get up and get her anyway soon, but she came in and laid in bed. And normally she'll just cuddle and chill and shit, but she just kept fucking poking me and then putting her hair in my face and just doing a bunch of shit to fuck with me. So I would get up, which I was getting up, you know what I mean? I just need a little bit to wake up, especially after went to bed late. Went to bed at almost 1, and that's late for us. We're usually in bed by 11:30, 12 at the latest. Usually earlier if my wife works and I feel like getting a good night's sleep. And so, did that. And then I came back and I had to take I emptied a storage locker, which I'll talk about too. But I had to take the stuff that was left to the dump. So I got Dunkin' Donuts on the way back because, I was slightly hungover. I don't feel like shit. It's just you get that taste in your mouth and you were drinking last night and ate mushrooms and I usually don't eat past a certain time. And I ate we made frozen pizzas and fucking our kids' dino nuggets last night. So I made those at 12:30 and 8. So yeah, it's just today's been kind of off the rails. So I went to Dunkin' Donuts and they had I got some bagels for me and my wife, just carbs, no nutritional value at all. And then I had got some donuts. And it's my kid's at school, so the little one doesn't eat donuts or anything like that. So I was like, fuck it, I'll just get some donuts for me and my wife because I want something sweet right now. So I got a Boston cream, which if you aren't familiar with a Boston cream, it's just a donut filled with what looks like jizz. So you're basically just eating a donut filled with sweet jizz. It's pretty gross thinking about it. And I always think of that movie Van Wilder when they fucking jerk the dog off and then give the pastries to those dudes. That's what it reminds me of every time I eat one of those. And sometimes I put a little bit of salt on it just so it tastes a little bit more like semen. But no, I don't do that. That's fucking disgusting. So I had that, and then this is all about me just being a good. I started this off by saying I'm a bad boy and a good boy, and this is how I've been a good boy, by going to Dunkin' Donuts and getting bagels and donuts. But anyway, so there's one left, pink sprinkles, which is one of my favorite. I'm sure it's filled with fucking weird dye and high fructose corn syrup, but we literally never get it. And so I had that, and I was like, should I eat this before the podcast? and I was going to eat the second donut, but I was like, you know what? If I do that, I'm going to be falling asleep while I'm trying to podcast. It's going to be a low energy episode. So I figured I'd wait and give it to myself as like a little treat for doing a podcast, you know? So that's how I've been a good boy. I've been a bad boy because I'm still, dude, my taxes, my like shit's just still in a pile. Completely unorganized. I still haven't called my fucking guy. It's just every year I'm like, I'm going to be good this year. And then I'm just horrible. You know what I mean? I get it all done and I have everything organized, but it's just a pain in the ass. Like it's organized, but it's not. I always like organize it and then reorganize it and then like have to reorganize it a third time. And it's just wastes so much time and I really need to streamline it. So yeah, I had another first this week. I haven't talked about any reselling shit, but I'll get into reselling. I have plenty of reselling stuff to talk about this week. Plenty of reselling stuff to talk about. And I should have video soon, hopefully. I ordered a tripod finally. It was supposed to be here today, so I was hoping to use it today, but the day is running out, and I've got shit to do later. So, yeah, hopefully that's here today, but, yeah, I think I'm going to set it up and just do it on the couch for right now. It's just easier. So, this week, it was like Tuesday, I think. My wife was off, and we've just been, we've had sickness going through the house. And we've been just stuck inside. Haven't really been able to go anywhere. Not really felt like going anywhere. And so we were like, let's take the kids somewhere. Like, let's go somewhere today. So went to the aquarium in Connecticut, which was like an hour and a half from us. And we drove there and we got there and I ended up bidding on a storage unit. There was 2 storage units. It looked like mostly clothes, but they're at like $0. And so they were only like 20 minutes from the house. So it got down to like the last couple minutes and nobody had bid on them. So I was like, fuck it, dude. My wife was like, there could be concert t-shirts. And I said, fuck it. So I did it. And I shouldn't have done it, but I will make some money. I'll make enough money, and it really honestly didn't take me that long. Plus, it was like more of like a learning experience. So I get to the storage place. So I buy the 2 units. I pay $10 each, and they had also like the buyer's premium was waived because nobody was wanting these units, so I didn't have to pay like any of the fees. So it ended up being $20 for 2 units, and like I said, it was mostly clothes. So there was a few clothing items that I grabbed, like, some stuff that'll go from like $15 to $30. And then there was actually some video game stuff, which I was surprised. And I got to like the last bag and I posted it on my Instagram, but there was like 5 Nintendo 64 cartridges. And I was like, oh, fuck yeah. Like, that's pretty sweet. Like, I'd gone through everything else, like, found a bunch of like nasty clothes and like, so I ended up donating a bunch. Not donating, but there's like this place that takes clothes and they like shred it because you're not supposed to like dispose of clothes in Massachusetts. And so I do that with like the clothes that are too like nasty to donate because they just shred it up. And so I dropped off like 3 or 4. No, it was 2 like huge black trash bags filled with the clothes and then 3 like garbage bags. And so I dropped those off. And then today, when I went to the dump, I was dropping off like 3 huge bags of just trash. So it was mostly just like trash and then like other stuff. So I separated it into the trash, the clothes for donation, the clothes that I was going to sell at my yard sale, and like the other stuff that I made a bin of stuff that I was going to sell at the yard sale, and then a bin of stuff that's can go to eBay. And so I already cleaned all the clothes for eBay. They're all ready to go. I've used like Woolite detergent because it has like a stronger scent. Like I hate scents on my clothes. My wife never used scents on clothes. I used to do scented stuff, but like since I've been with my wife like 10 years or some shit. And she's sensitive to smells and shit, so she doesn't really like the scented shit, so we never get it. And so I bought some just for the business, and so yeah, I used that because I wanted that stuff to smell as fresh as possible. So just know, like, if you buy stuff occasionally, it's gonna come. Oh yeah, so I'm not even fucking. I'm backtracking because I'm like, I'm getting ahead of myself. So I get to the storage place, and the guy, he was like, talking to me or whatever, and he's like, I'll waive the second cleaning fee because he's like, I'm assuming you're just gonna clean everything out today. I was like, yeah, I should be able to get everything. And it was close. I almost like had to make a second trip, which I didn't want to have to do. So I like squished everything into the car. And then, so the guy's like, as he's like getting me ready, he's like, this guy, just be careful because this guy was homeless. For one of them, he's like, so I don't know. He's like, just be careful for any needles, blah, 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 blah. So I'm like, fuck, like, there can't be much in this unit if this dude was homeless. Like, and that's maybe classist of me to say, but, like, come on. Like, I was hoping maybe I'd find some stolen shit or, like, something that he, like, had taken and hadn't got a chance to pawn or something yet. But no, there's nothing like that. There's about 1,000 child support letters. So it was just like it's like a storage locker of sadness. Just going through everything that was just like literally like 100 fucking letters. Like this dude just fucking did not have any interest in paying child support. And so the guy, as he's telling me this, he's like, this dude was homeless, blah, 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 blah. And he's definitely not coming back. Like, I'm like, oh, like, it was pretty, like, ominous. I'm like, did this guy fucking die? Like, that's what I'm assuming. The guy died, or, like, he just, maybe he was banned from the location. I don't know. But I'm just, like, thinking, do I have to worry about this dude, like, showing up here looking for his shit while I'm unloading it? So then he's, like, telling me about the other unit, and he's like, yeah, the other one's smaller, so we'll go to that one after. He's like, yeah, she was homeless, too. She might be coming back for her stuff. He's like, would you be upset if she comes back and she's like, she's here for her stuff? I'm like, no, like, as long as I'm not paying for it, you know what I mean? Like, she can have her shit. I'm not heartless. I'm like, no, you homeless bitch. Like, so, but she never showed up. And so it was mostly just clothes. Like, there was some nail polish. So I don't know if there's like oh, fuck, my kid's awake. So I don't know if there's a, market for nail polish. I have to start looking some of it up, but who knows? Fuck, man, my kid's awake after like 45 minutes, so hopefully she goes back down. She's been doing this shit where she gets up and then she like fucking lays back down, but we'll see. I hope she goes back to sleep because I've only got 13 minutes in. So anyway, yeah, some nail polish. I gotta look that shit up and see if that stuff sells for anything decent or if it's just going to be a waste of my time. And we'll see what happens. So, yeah, get the units. And so he tells me that. So I'm like, oh, great. So I'm like looking through shit. And I find like a Sega Genesis Classic right off the bat, which I know doesn't go for a ton of money, but it goes for, a little bit of money. Then I found like a few Sega Genesis games. Those I actually might keep because I don't have them. They're games I'm interested in. And so then I found like an old PlayStation, which I'm like, I know for a fact this isn't going to work. Like, there's no chance in hell this thing's going to work. Tested it out. Sure enough, it didn't work. So I was going to sell it for parts. But even for parts, I should get like close to what I paid for the unit back. So at that point, I'm like, okay. Like, I'm okay with that. So I cleaned the unit out. And, yeah, I found a few more like PlayStation 3, PlayStation 2 games. I found... And then, like, at the very end, I found, like, the Nintendo cartridges. I started talking about this. Found the Nintendo cartridges, and, of course, they're reproductions, so they're not real. I could tell right off the bat, you know what I mean? I've seen enough Nintendo 64 games. They're, like, the artwork was fucked up, and it was, like, more glossy. And so knew right off the bat. I opened a couple of them just to check, but yeah, for sure they were not authentic. So I listed those on Marketplace in a lot for like 50, $60. So, and I'll probably take an offer. I'll probably end up selling them for like 25, 30. Um, but yeah, so there was that, and then like just some clothes. That's basically all I got, and a few things for like the yard sale. Then the second unit was kind of a bust. There was just a few items of clothes, so I basically just paid to clean out the storage units for this dude. So as I was finishing up, the guy like gave me my deposit back, and he went through his whole finishing up spiel. And he's like, yeah, I knew I had a good feeling about you. You're good. You can come back here. I'm just like, well, yeah, if I bid on a unit, of course I can come back here. Like, what do you mean? And so, like, he's like, yeah, I charge people the double cleaning fee, but, I could tell that you were a good guy and you were gonna handle it or something. I was like, okay. So I have no idea what he was talking about, but so yeah, I got some two units, and earlier in the day, I know I'm jumping all around as I usually do, but we went to the aquarium, and so we were coming back, and like we were just so hungry, we hadn't eaten anything, and like all morning, and the kids were hungry, and we never fucking go to McDonald's. So this is how little we go to like McDonald's or fast food in general. Uh, like we had got a gift card for my daughter for her birthday from somebody, and we got it like last year, like in the middle of the summer, and we just now used the gift card. So that's how long it's been. And so my wife had never tried a Big Mac, and they had like the double Big Macs. So I was like, I got to try the double Big Mac, you know what I mean? And I ended up trying the double Big Mac, and it was really good, but of course they forgot my wife's Big Mac, and it was like such a pain in the ass to leave there. Like we just like, they were kind of rushing us, which is always so fucking annoying when they forget your food and they're rushing you out of there. It's like, but you can't even get my fucking order complete. Like, why are you rushing me out of there? So they rush us out of there. We leave, and like I check right after we leave, and of course we're out of the parking lot, and we're already like on this road that's really hard to get back around. We would have had to do like a U-turn and fucking bust a bitch, and it would have been a whole project just to get back over there. So I had to share my double Big Mac with my wife, which was fine. You know what I mean? It was a double Big Mac, but I didn't really get the full experience. But I'm kind of happy that we didn't eat the whole thing, just because it was, it was pretty big. And those things are not the best things for you. So we had that. And then my kid had her first Happy Meal, which I don't think she liked the chicken nuggets. She had like 1.5 chicken nuggets. And I was like, are you going to eat the last two? And she's like, no. So that usually means she doesn't like it, which is good because we've basically like, we buy like the healthier shit, for their kids. So they're still going to eat fucking toddler food, but they buy the healthier shit. We buy the healthier shit instead of like, eating out all the time. Plus it gets expensive if you're eating out all the time, especially when you buy food. And so yeah, we got fucking fast food McDonald's the day of the storage units. And yeah, I got everything cleaned out. Like it was basically, I worked on it for like 2 hours the day I got home, and then like 2 hours the next day. And I was already done, like going through everything. So it was an easy unit to go through. Like the last unit I had, or the first unit I bought, it took me like a whole weekend. There was a ton of shit in it, but it was like more shit than I thought. So I had to make several trips to get the stuff. But it ended up being like a decent unit. Like I paid $200 for that, and I ended up making like, $500-600, and that was like a weekend. Like my whole basement was filled for a weekend. So I don't have any type of like storage except for like the basement side, where we have like two different side basements. So the side that's like the unfinished side is the side that I have my eBay stuff in, and then the other side is like where we hang out and stuff. And there's like a door that you can shut, and that looks like it's just a wall. Oh hell yeah, my daughter laid back down. She does that she's been doing that. She like wakes up after like 45 minutes of a nap and then goes back to sleep. But anyway, so yeah, we got those storage units, got everything cleaned out. And then today I got an email from the storage auction website. And if you look at a storage unit on the website and the storage unit doesn't sell, they'll like sometimes they'll send you an email and be like, you can be the first to accept this offer, and it'll be like the storage unit will be free. And so it did that, but because I just did those 2 units, I was like, oh, this is definitely another homeless person's unit. So I was like, I don't want to deal with it. So I passed on the free unit. But I've been checking storage units every day. I'm trying to like, I don't know, and it might need to start paying up a little bit on storage units just because, I've been going through my death pile pretty good, consistently selling lots, like trying to move stuff like that. And a lot of it has been selling pretty quickly. Like, so I'll put some stuff up and it'll sell. I have this one thing like sitting in my drafts. It was an order that sold before Christmas. And this person was like, they hit me up after I shipped it. Like, I shipped right away. They hit me up. They're like, hey, there's an issue with my address. Like, this is my actual address. Like, I need this sent to this address. But it had already been sent. Like, already been returned to me at this point when they messaged me that. And so I told them they had to, pay with a shipping label, this, that, and the other. And so they, I told them exactly how to do it. I showed them screenshots from my conversation with eBay, explaining to them explaining to me, like, I knew how to do it, but I needed eBay to I always do that so I can just send them screenshots. Like, this is what eBay said to do. Just makes it easy. And so I tell them that this is what they have to do. Like, they need to pay for this shipping label, and then I'll send it out. And so I'm like waiting, never hear anything from them. So then they message me like, where is this package? It should be here. I'm like, the last communication I had with you is that you had to pay for this label. And like, sent the same message, I copy and pasted the same message I had already sent them, and posted it back and was like, you have to pay for a label, blah, 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 blah. This is how you do it. You can pay through Cash App. I use Cash App, so it's got my like store name, like Flips and Giggles. And they sent it. So like, okay, they sent it. So I shipped it out that day, the day they sent it. And the address that they gave me was like basically the same address, but it was like 1 letter off. And anytime I went to go input it into the system to print up the label, it kept coming back like and verifying it. So no, not verifying it. So it was like it wouldn't verify that was the correct address. And so I sent them a message. I was like, hey, I just wanted to verify with you like that this was the correct address and that everything was going to be fine. And like, because I tried to send it to that address and I'm having issues. Like, what would you like me to do? And so they were like, yeah, that's fine. Send it to that address. So I'm like, okay. So then I send them a message. So then I ship it out, and like, I don't know how long goes by. Like, it ended up getting returned back to me again. So at this point, I'm like, dude, I'm not wasting any more energy on this person. Like, they can message me once they realize what happened. And so they message me again, and they're like, hey, what happened? Where the hell is this package? It should be here already. And I'm like, no, there's an issue with your address. Like, and I sent them a picture of the label with the return to sender again with the new address. And I'm like, there's something wrong with your address. Like, if you can send it to a friend or you can send it to work, like, but you're going to have to pay for another label. Like, this isn't anything that's my fault. I've been pretty quick and consistent, like, helping you out. I didn't say all that because it just would have made things annoying. You know what I mean? I just basically told them what they had to do, and I had never heard back from them again. So now I am just sitting with this package because I'm like ready. I have the save the draft, so I'm just like waiting until like the return period is way over, and I was just gonna relist it because this person's clearly fucking stupid. So I have no idea. They must be a hoarder that just buys a ton of shit. But anyway, I gotta pause this real quick. My kid did not actually go to sleep, so I gotta pause this. My wife should be back soon, so then I can jump back and finish this up because I want to do a bit more of this podcast. So hold on. All right, I'm back. I actually remember to just hit play that time, so I don't have to like fucking do a bunch of bullshit. Anyway, I went up and got my kid. She had to fucking shit herself, of course, but she's 1, and she actually told me she had poop. Like 3-year-old, man. She used to tell us, and now she's just like, I don't know if it's something we did or like she's just a weirdo. Like, fuck, man. Speaking of which, I could actually. So, I told this story last night to our neighbors. We ended up hanging out with our neighbors and obviously I took mushrooms, so I was a little fucked up. And so I told them this story about how, because we were talking about how, my daughter still hasn't, been potty trained or whatever. And so I stopped shitting my pants like fucking very late, like way later than anybody should. I was going away to Boy Scout camp, and the only way like I was gonna make it the week was like I had to shit. Otherwise, like if I shit myself, it would be is this mic like really low or something? What is happening? Hold on. Is this working? Hello. Give me 1 second. Hold on. Okay. I don't know. This thing came like loose or something, and it was like really low. So I hope that was able to be heard. Is it still fucking weird? I feel like it's like a weird. Oh, maybe it's good. Anyway, that was annoying. Sorry. I don't have producers to fix my shit. It's just me doing my shit. So, what was I talking about? Fuck, what was I just talking about? Oh, yeah. So yeah, I go to Boy Scout camp. So, like, if you're in Boy Scouts, you're, like, of a certain age. Like, you're a little older. Obviously, Cub Scouts is, like, you're younger. And so I went there, and it's, like, a week long. And so I had to, like, shit, you know what I mean? Like, it is what it is. And so let me just switch this mic, because I feel like this thing might be fucked up. Hold on. All right, let me see. All right, I think that's better. Sorry if the last few minutes were fucked up. I, like, didn't really catch it until... So I hope that's all right. Either that or I'm just fucking high. But... which could be the case. Anyway, so get to Boy Scout camp. And... so I have to, like, shit like a big boy, And... so... there was this other kid there, and, like, it became apparent that he also shit himself. You know what I mean? He would, like, you could smell it. Like, until you have kids, you know what I mean? You don't realize, like, how bad, like shit smells if you shit yourself. Like, people can smell it. And so there was this dude there who was, like, a friggin'... he's, like, one of those kids that, like, was just a little bit older, and he, like, bullied other kids. So, like, I didn't want him to bully me. So I, like, kind of became his little, like, what's it called, toady or something like that. I don't know. He says it in Christmas Story, like the bully and then like the little dude on the side. That was me, the little dude with the hat. And so one day he decides that there's like another tent, and like this dude was keeping his shitty drawers in this other tent for whatever reason. Like, I don't know if he like left it there so nobody would know whose tent it was. And so I helped him fucking pin the shitty drawers to the bulletin board. And so like and then I remember we walked to the mess hall to go have dinner, and I vividly remember this fat kid walking towards us, and the dude I was with was like, he was like, "Hey, have they started serving dinner yet?" And the kid was like, "Yeah." He's like, "Yeah, you look like you ate 2 of them." That's what he said to this fucking kid. Like, that's the type of dude he was. And so we're walking to the mess hall, and we get there, and I kind of waited till I had an opportunity, and I like kind of like whispered to him like, "Yo, your shitty drawers," or like, and I forget how I said it, but I basically told him that his underwear was on the bulletin board, and like, let him know that he had to get back. And so I can't remember if like one of the troop leaders found it or if he got back and got it off before anybody else got back. But yeah, I felt bad, so I did a shitty thing and then redeemed myself, I guess, because that could have just as easily been me. You know what I mean? And that was like the last time I was like, all right, never shitting my pants again, which is wild. I was pretty old. I've got some issues. Anyway, so yeah, I told that story to our neighbors last night. When I was on mushrooms, I couldn't stop laughing. It's one of my favorite stories of all time. I don't know why I like that story so much. It's very embarrassing, but so yeah, hung out with the neighbors last night. They texted, one of them, the woman texted my wife to hang out. So we went to the 99 and yeah, I had a couple of beers and then came back. I went over their place and drank. I had taken the mushrooms, and yeah, that's when I told them that story. So yeah. Anyway, yeah, I was watching. So like, I used to record when I would go to yard sales and stuff, and I stopped doing so. I don't know. To me, it feels like too much of a hassle. Like, you get there, you either have to wear it all the time and it's super tight and just uncomfortable, which, occasionally I'll do it. But like, I don't know. I get bored with them. I don't know if people like consistently watch them or if you're just getting new people. I don't know how it works. But like, and then you have to, unless you're like, you're then having to like almost have these like not, I mean, I'm sure some people are authentic with their conversations with people, but like, it's almost like you feel like you have to speak a certain way and like make yourself entertaining almost while you're going to yard sales. So it just kind of becomes about that. I don't know. I've thought about doing it and then just doing commentary afterwards. You know what I mean? Just because, I mean, I do talk to people. You know what I mean? Because I'm trying to schmooze them sometimes. So I guess you're just being disingenuous anyway, because you're kind of in salesman mode, but like you're selling yourself items for the lowest price sometimes. Does that make sense? So tomorrow is Saturday. I'm hoping that there's some sales. There's like a few, but I don't know which one to go to. None of them look great. But occasionally, like Friday night, they'll be posted, so I'll check tonight again. But who knows? That might be it. I don't have any luck. Like, I've driven around a few times, but it's like I don't have any luck just driving around. Occasionally I found them. There was one I found. It was like up the street, and I was coming home, and I drove past it, and I like pulled in, and I guess I had missed out on some vintage toys. So completely missed out, but it happens. I got a few things from them. I can't remember what I got, but I remember getting a few things. What else? Man, I was on a roll when I had to stop earlier, because now I can't remember what. There was like certain things I was going to talk about. So, yeah, looking at more storage units. There's a couple I have my eye on right now. But my whole thing is space, honestly. It's like I don't want to just take up the whole house with stuff. Like, there's already enough stuff. Like, the video game section of the house is like, there's a little fence because it's just a mess right now. And I don't have a great shelf. So, like, a bunch of the Nintendo games were falling off. And then my daughters were like, you know, my youngest was grabbing at them. Because there's like colorful ones and, you know. So it's just a mess right now. But I don't want it to be like, you know, bringing out a bunch of shit. And there's like boxes and fucking dusty shit everywhere. But I need to get her into like going to the storage units with me. So that's what I need to do. 2 hands better than one. I usually do them by myself. So, what else is new? We've been watching Louder Milk on Netflix. So I think we're almost caught up, and I don't know. I heard it got canceled, but it's a good show. It's about it's a dude from Office Space. What the fuck's his name? Ron Livingston, I think. And he's like a substance abuse counselor, but he's like a dick. He runs like a support group, and it's all these like goofy ass dudes. So it's funny. It's like we honestly laugh like a lot. So I'm hoping it gets picked back up. That's like mostly what I watch now is like comedy stuff. I used to watch a lot of like different shit, but now with like the limited amount of time that we have for TV, it's like I just want some silly shit. I've also been watching the live action One Piece show, and then I just started the anime on the first episode. So who knows? I always start animes and I get like a few seasons in, and then I just end up like falling off. So we'll see. I'll start it. The show's pretty good. It's fun. I enjoy it. I don't know. I only have the first episode to compare it to, but you know, some of the costumes are a little silly, but yeah, it's fun. keeps me awake. I actually don't fall asleep. So I'm getting together with some buddies this weekend. Some of my oldest friends. That's always fun. What else? Man, I was on such a good fucking roll. The other day I was complaining about like groceries or some shit. I think it was for like Valentine's Day. I was bitching about the prices. And my daughter like repeated one of the things I said, and one of the employees heard her, but she heard like part of it. So she heard her say like crazy or something, and she's like, "Oh, you a crazy driver?" She was in like one of those car carts. So yeah, that story wasn't my best. Did I talk about Vegas? I don't know. I'm going to Vegas in a couple months for our friend's son's 21st birthday. And so we're bringing our kids, because I don't trust anybody with my kids. Well, no, we don't really have anybody who could do it. And yeah. Plus, it's like, why not just bring them? I don't really go out partying like that at night. You know, I might if I didn't have the kids, but I do want to do drugs. So that's the only thing that I'm going to be kind of disappointed in. But I will probably do some yard sales. Hoping that there'll be yard sales. We'll probably hit up some thrift stores. So I've only been to Vegas one time, and I was only there for like a day. It was actually, we went to the Grand Canyon, and when we were at the Grand Canyon, we had like driven to meet my wife's cousins in North Hollywood. And so when we got there, we unloaded our stuff from the car, and I had just had like a grocery bag with shoes and boots and shit in it for the trip, and I fucking forgot it. And I didn't realize I forgot it till we got to the Grand Canyon, and there was like nowhere that sold shoes. So I had to wear flip-flops the entire time we did the Grand Canyon. So that was super fun. And then I went to Vegas for like one night, and I did horrible gambling. Like, I lost. And I've never spent a ton of money, but I lost. We didn't win any money. And then I got like a super fucking wicked bad headache that was just like I couldn't shake. And I think I puked too. So hopefully this time's better and I win some money. I remember one time I went, it was like me and my wife had been together for a little while, and it was her friend's birthday, and we were living in Los Angeles at the time, and her friend's parents paid for a party bus, so we were able to I had to work that day, so I called into work. I was just like, yeah, I can't come in, blah, blah, blah. And at the time I was like really broke, and so I was like, fuck. So we went to the casino. We'd have to pay for anything. We just had to bring money to gamble, and they rented like cabanas outside, and they had football on the TVs. It was on a Sunday, and we just basically had cabanas by the pool. There's like a lazy river, and then so we chilled there for the day, like drank, like all the drinks were free. We just had to bring a bottle on the bus if we wanted to drink on the party bus, so it was a free party bus. And so we ended up just like drinking until like 7:30 by the pool, and we had to be back to the thing by like 8:30 or something like that. 8:30, I can't remember. And so we basically had a little while to gamble. So we just hit slots, and I had read online like the way to hit slots is to listen for like the section that is going off. like, I don't know if this is true or not, but like that day, and my wife was there, she can friggin' confirm that this happened. But that day I was just like, I just kept listening, and like, she thought I was freaking crazy. She was following me around the casino like a crazy person. So I went to one machine, and then that machine I made like, I won like $100. Then next to the next machine, and like got down some money to like 70 or something, and then cashed out, went to the third machine, and hit the jackpot. I wish I had max bet on that one, but it was like the one before max bet. So I ended up winning like $2,700 or something like that. And so they like just walk it out to you in cash, like in front of everybody. It's freaking crazy. And so like, and then like luckily we just had to go. I should have put like $100 on like a friggin' on roulette, but anyway. So yeah, we get back to the hotel room because we had to like meet up with everybody before we left. And this girl's like, yeah, I think I'm the big winner. I won almost $200, blah, 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 blah. And I didn't want to tell anybody, so I was trying to keep it quiet. And my wife's friend was like, Perry won. And I'm like, oh. And so I had already like, was going to offer to pay some money like to help. And the chick's mom was like, no, you guys came to have fun, like, enjoy, blah, 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 blah. So, yeah, it was good. I need an experience like that this time, but I'll keep my expectations low. Plus, we have to do family shit. So I need to figure out some family shit in Vegas. And I'm just hoping there's yard sales. There's got to be. I'm hoping some starts here soon. I usually have one in, like, March. So I'll probably have one in a couple weeks. On a day when it's decent. I have a ton of stuff to sell. And the yard sales are, like, I love selling smaller shit that just isn't worth much and just bulk to people at yard sales super cheap. So everybody who comes to my yard sales, like, leaves with fucking piles. Like, I make it so. And I try to like create an atmosphere of competition. So I think this time, like, I've let early birds in and before, but this time I think the way I'm gonna do it is I'm just gonna make sure everybody comes in at 9 o'clock on the dot. I'm gonna just like block the whole street off. It's like we're the last house on the street, so I'm just gonna block because it's gonna be early enough. Then I'm gonna block that road off, and then just do an early start time and just get it going. Let the shark frenzy begin. So yeah, man, those storage lockers, I just kept they were just so depressing. And then you think about it afterwards, you're like, man, this person's whole life is like based on the value of what like I sell, you know what I mean? So like if I make like 400 minus the 20 that I paid, you know, it's like their life is worth like $380. It's kind of sad. Which it's not like a way to think of it. That's just like a fucked up way to think of it. So, but yeah, that's a good thing to know though. Is like now I know what to look for. Like, oh, this looks like somebody who's homeless. Which you know, like one of the units was decent. I'll make some money on it. But like the other one, it's basically wasn't really worth the extra effort. So, unfortunately, that's how it goes sometimes. But $20, you know. And again, it didn't really take me too long. So, and you gotta just scratch that itch sometimes. Gotta scratch the itch, because if you don't, you just like, you know, especially if you don't have like sales. Like there's sales, I could just go to sales, but like I just don't like. I do like taking some time off to like just go to sales, you know what I mean? to like enjoy going to sales. So, because as much as I like say that I miss yard sale season, it is like I do go every weekend. I go Saturday, Sunday, pretty much every weekend. So like, especially for my kids and stuff, like I just take some time off. So my oldest is probably going to be coming with me to sales this year, because my youngest is like, she's way too young. She won't stay, like, I used to take her strapped onto me, like in the baby carrier, but I don't think she'll stay in that. And she won't really, it's hard to do, like, shop with a stroller. So my 3-year-old, I can bring her. She'll, like, she won't be too, she can pick stuff up and look at it, but, I can start teaching her about money. So I'm excited for that. I will miss having my little one with me, but my daughter used to go with me to sales before that. And it's only like every other weekend when my wife works. So I am sorry. Remember, I'm tired. Partied last night, man. Partied. So I am tired. I have some shit to list. I'm going to do some listing, I think, in a minute. I have some time after I finish up this podcast. Take some pictures of some of the clothes. I don't mind clothes. It's just annoying when you put fucking measurements for everything, and then people are like, send a question, and so I always like verify things several times. So I just sent a bunch of stuff out today. So the people at my post office are cool. We're on like a first name basis now, so but like they've asked me before about just doing a scan sheet, which like I don't know, because I sell on different like if you sell on different platforms, I don't know how that works. Plus I don't have like a regular printer, so I don't think I can just print it up. So I don't know how that works, but I usually don't have a ton of stuff to scan it all in. But if I start doing Whatnot, which I do plan on doing Whatnot soon, then I'll have a lot more shit to send out. So I will have to figure something out for that. So, yeah. Man, I can't wait to have that donut. It almost felt the temptation when I was taking a break to go up and get my kid. I was like, man, I could eat that strawberry frosted donut right now. Oh, so good. It's not even that good, but when I'm hungover, that's the type of shit I like to eat. Which I'm not even that hungover. I'm just like, I just have the taste in my mouth. It's like my mouth's still dry. I had a liquid IV earlier. Those usually help. I could probably have another one. I'm so dehydrated. I thought I drank water last night, but apparently I didn't. Or maybe I didn't drink enough during the day. Who knows? I try to drink a ton of water. I don't understand people who don't. Like, I've worked with people, like adults in their 50s, who are like, I don't drink water. There was a guy that I worked with at a cell phone store. He was like in sales, and this dude was like in his 50s. And this dude was such a fucking pain in the ass. And he was always fucking up. And anytime he would fuck up, like his customers would come in, and he was either not there or like fucking busy when, he needed to be dealing with his shit. And so where was I going with this? Oh yeah, so I remember he said one time, he's like, yeah, I don't drink water. Like, I have to force myself if I have to drink water, because I think it's gross. I'm like, how the fuck, like, you're made up of water. How the fuck can you think water is gross as an adult? But he would always drink fucking Dr. Pepper, and then he would have like kidney stones, and so like he would have, like be like screaming in pain. We'd have customers, and this dude would be in the back, and like the first time it happened, I was like, oh my god, like da 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 da. And so then after that, like it happened like a couple more times, and like the new people every time are like, oh my god, are you okay? Like this one dude drove him to the hospital. And I was like, dude, take an ambulance. I'm not driving you. Like I got customers. I need to make money. Because it just would happen all the time. And like when you saw his diet and what he drank, and you're just like, yeah, dude, like of course you're gonna have kidney stones. Like you need to drink water. That's fucking so ridiculous that you have to force yourself to drink water. So if you have to force yourself to drink water, you really need to like reevaluate your life choices. And I mean that, and coming from a loving place, because that shit's not good for you. Like you need fucking water. So unless that's like a fucking, you could tell though. Like that's one of those things. It's like if I feel like shit, like I can tell if it's from dehydration, and I'll just drink fucking as much water as I can, and like that makes it feel better. I can tell. So all right, got a couple more minutes here, so I'll finish up. Let's see. Got another 4 minutes. What can I talk about for 4 whole minutes? I don't really have a game I'm playing. I'm kind of playing like Super Mario, but I'm not really like into it. Like I'm into it. It's fun. It's more like a, chill, fun game to play. And yeah, I haven't figured out what the next game. Hopefully this mic's probably picking all that shit up. My kid's banging around upstairs. So yeah, I gotta figure out the next game. I saw that game Helldivers. That game looks pretty sick, but I don't have any friends to play with online. I don't really play video games online. A lot of my friends don't. I'm trying to get one of my buddies to buy shit online. Maybe that's what I'll tell him to buy a PS5 for. We can play together. That game looks sick. So I bought tickets to Are You Garbage, the podcast. So I'm going with my buddy in April. So that should be pretty dope. Give me something to look forward to. But yeah, other than that, we've got Easter coming up, which I'm not really religious. I'm not into all that stuff. But we always do like an Easter egg hunt for the kids. And so that's always fun, hiding the Easter eggs. We hide a shit ton of them. And my cousin and her kids come over, and they try to find it. So I want to up the ante this year, I think. Put a couple, like, dollar bills in and stuff like that. So it should be a good time. Jesus is going to come back. Everybody will be happy. You know what I mean? I think that's where he came back. Came back from the dead. Anyway, it's been real. I'm going to finish up because my kid's banging around upstairs. I'm sure it's picking up, and I don't really have the tech skills or desire to edit it out of the podcast. So with that, oh man, still like 1 more minute. I'm trying to do exactly an hour at least, just because I feel like I'm trying to train myself and be better about doing an hour. So be patient with me as I learn how to podcast by myself. It's such a lonely art, you know? Very, very lonely. Reselling stuff. Yeah. But yeah, so just moral of the story is, like, if you're going to buy a storage unit, just make sure you look and see if it looks like it's a homeless person. Because I didn't even think about that option. Like, like I figured that homeless people just had what they had on them, but of course they might have a storage unit. Didn't plan on being homeless, so it's a fucked up lesson to learn. But hey, that's what happened. So see you later.